If you could meet any 5 people from history, bit of a cliche, and have a half-hour chat with them over a beer or a glass of wine, whatever your drink of choice is, who would they be and why? So that's what today's video is about. I'm also using this clip mic for the first time as well, so let me know what the audio quality is like. Okay, so first character that I'd choose, Rasputin. I think there'd have to be a place for Gregory Rasputin. The story of a Russian peasant who rose from complete obscurity, travelled across Russia and ended up being the most powerful man in Russia for a time as advisor to the Tsar and Tsarina. I think is one of the most unbelievable kind of stories that I've ever heard, actually. Who was he? You know, who was this alcoholic, womanizing mystic? Was he the Antichrist? Who was he? He was indestructible virtually until he was eventually killed. He divided opinion. He had a reputation that went before him, but he seemed to have a hold on people. He was able to hypnotize people and to control them, get them to do whatever he wanted them to do. And I just think a fascinating character, and I would love to have a half-hour chat with him. Number 2, Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche. Now, don't get me wrong, I've not read that much of Nietzsche. I intend to. But to me, he seemed like a prophet, a man before his time. He predicted he said, God is dead and we have killed him. And I think what he was trying to get at was he was predicting, or he could see, the demise of religion in the West. And he was predicting what would happen as a result of that. What would happen as a result of a lot of people losing a connection to religion. Either totalitarianism or nihilism would ensue. He predicted the totalitarianism of the 20th century in Europe and the bloodshed and the mass slaughter. So I think I'd like to speak to him to get his take on where society is now and whether he sees a society that is ready for a reconnection with God and religion, or whether he sees another another descent into totalitarianism or nihilism, or indeed did he see a society that was ready to start reconnecting to the concept of individual sovereignty and individual value structures. So I would like to speak to him and see what he made of our society right now and where it was headed. Number 3, I think I'd say Karl Marx, and I would like to ask him, did he accept any personal responsibility for what was done in his name? What was done in the name of communism? Did it play out in 20th century Europe and beyond as he expected it would do? Or did it play out in a different way? How did he feel about his doctrine being interpreted in such a way that led to mass suffering, mass famine, mass murder? Or was that how he intended it all to play out? Was he bitter and resentful? And he wanted to seek revenge on humanity itself, even if he wasn't able to do it personally, it was able to be done in his name? Or was he genuinely trying? Did he genuinely think that his communist ideology was something that could be not only espoused but practiced successfully by human beings? So I'd like to speak to him about that. Number 4, Van Gogh, Vincent van Gogh. Just to find out what it was like to exist in a world that wasn't ready for him. He was only posthumously recognised as the genius that he was. Until his death, he led a fairly tortured life. He was misunderstood. His gifts weren't really recognised. He was always, I think you can see that in his paintings as well. It was a world that was not ready for Vincent van Gogh. And what did that feel like? What now if he was able to come back from the dead now? What would he think of his legacy? So Vincent van Gogh. And the 5th character, Joseph Goebbels, because I'd want to get inside the mind of the Nazi mastermind of propaganda, because I see similarities now. I see mind control, I see indoctrination and brainwashing, which is very, very clever in its simplicity, actually. And I'd want to get a little bit more understanding about how he was able to orchestrate and mastermind what he did, the manipulation of tens of millions of German people, manipulate them into evil on a mass scale. And I'd want to try to draw the parallels between what he did and what he orchestrated and what I see happening in my own country now, actually, and try and get a deeper and more innate understanding of what psychologically he tapped into and what the propagandists of 2021 are tapping into. So they're my 5 characters: Goebbels, Van Gogh, Karl Marx, Nietzsche, and Rasputin. So who would your 5 be and why? I'd love to hear in the comments. If you do like my content, please subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.